So we've had many questions about how can S&E help me as a practitioner. So I very often use the story of change to help people in any sort of journey that they are doing, any change they are going through, or when they need to work with other people who are going through some form of change, transformation, etc. And I use it with people who are training as facilitators. So I thought I'd take you through it with respect to your journey as a practitioner. So this picture is familiar to you. It is Tabo's story that we use in STORI-Strategy. We use it in level 1 of S&E. It was the course navigation page at the very beginning of level 1. And then you saw it again when Simpo shared Tabo's story in module 4. So let's have a look what it looks like for your story. And we start off, this is our situation. We start with you some time back. I'm not sure when it is for each of you, but at some point before you came to Drama for Life, you had an existence that didn't include applied arts practitioner training. Maybe you were still at school, maybe you were an undergraduate student. And in that life, in that situation, somehow you came across the field of applied arts practitioners, or field of applied arts, and the fact that there are practitioners in that field. You learned about it, you got excited about it. That was a summons. It was summoning you to consider taking up the challenge of developing yourself into an applied arts practitioner. And you spent some time thinking about that. You sat on the threshold, you debated what I was doing already, what I was maybe contemplating doing, versus I could become an applied arts practitioner. And after whatever soul searching went into that, you decided that's what you're going to go for. And you started off on your journey and you met teachers and mentors who brought with them tools for you to learn. Tools of the arts, tools of the applied arts. You spent time learning those tools. And you've practiced with some of those tools. You've done little exercises, many little exercises. Those are the obstacles. Those are you learning how to use these tools and how to become much better at using them. And sometimes finding that it's not as easy as you thought, and some pieces go a bit easier. And then you've probably had the times when you've questioned yourself. This is your ordeal, your doubts, your questions. Am I doing the right thing? Is it worth it? Maybe I should just go back to what I was studying before, go back to what I thought I was going to study, or just stop studying completely. Am I able to do this? Is it the right thing for me? Are the tools the right tools? Will these really help me? Will I get any results with them? Is applied arts practitioner actually a worthwhile career? Will I be able to get work in that field? Will I enjoy what I'm doing? Would I be any good at doing it? All sorts of doubts and concerns that come up. And then in the past, you have decided it is worth it because you're still on this journey of becoming an applied arts practitioner. And what is in the future? What's ahead of you? Well, ahead of you is a time, possibly it's when you do your final exams this year, but maybe it isn't. Maybe it's a little bit beyond that. There's a time when you are going to put applied arts into practice as a practitioner, and you are going to get fabulous results. You are going to feel on top of the world because I've done it. I've not just learned this, I've actually done it. I've put it into practice. I gain experience from doing that. I gained insights. And this is often where people think that their journey ends, that they've arrived. But after we've had that first big experience of making it work, we actually return and we look back at what we've done and we contemplate where we're at, because we've done it once. Now what do we want to do? We've learned a lot, not just in our journey of learning, but also in the achieving the summit. And now we're thinking about what we used to do, how we used to see things, and what it was like to be a practitioner. And at this point, we can choose to let go of that if we want, or we can choose to carry on through the gateway where we're going to really start implementing it regularly. We're going to bring in the new things we've learned, the skills we have, and we're going to integrate them with the skills and the knowledge that we had before we started on this journey. And there'll be some things we let go of, and there'll be some things that we commit to. We commit to being an applied arts practitioner, whether it's every day or just quite frequently. And we put it into practice, we try out the work, we get more efficient at it, we get more comfortable with what we're doing, and one day we realize we have a new identity. We see ourselves as an applied arts practitioner. That's the journey that you're on. And you are in here at the moment. And it's not a journey that just follows this path smoothly, evenly, all the way through. It's a journey that comes back on itself sometimes. So we start learning, we try things out, we have our doubts, and maybe we go back and we learn some more. Maybe we even leave it for a bit and we go and sit back in that situation and contemplate again. Then we sit on the threshold and we say, we can do it. Let's have another go. And we go and we learn some more and we put some more into practice. And we have doubts again. And we overcome those doubts and we're on this path where we're still continuing our learning and our practicing, and we're getting ready to be able to have our first experience of really summiting, really completing a session where we have put into practice applied arts from a role as the practitioner, all by ourselves. And while we're on that path, we can be circling back, we can have doubts again, we can come back on the path, we can go back and we can learn some more, put some more into practice. And here, when we reach this level that we've achieved it, we sit back and we contemplate. We might also sometimes go back into our doubts for a bit and then come back here and think about it. Go back to the doubts, come back here to think about it. We may even go all the way back because we feel we still need to learn a little bit more, or we need a little bit more practice. But eventually, our decision here is that we're ready to keep on working with it, putting it into practice, integrating it into our life until we feel that identity. Now, this journey of change from a situation with a summons right through to a new identity is what everybody goes through when they are on a transformational journey. So the value here is that we realize that going back and forth a bit is perfectly normal. some parts of the path being fast and some being slow is perfectly normal. Having doubts is not only normal, it's a necessary part of the journey. Those wobbles have to be there. And we must give them as much time as they need. And that varies depending on the circumstances. It gives us huge hope, huge encouragement to realize that this process is a perfectly normal one for everybody to go on. And I hope now that you can see that you can use the understanding of this story of change, the understanding of story strategy, to be able to help you to reflect on your journey as a practitioner and to be able to work through the different parts of that journey until, hopefully, you become a practitioner in the applied arts.